This is the 6th video of the series, and we're adding appointment booking functionality in our WordPress website using the JetAppointment plugin. Hi, my name is Stratos and I'm constantly producing video tutorials about WordPress. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. In the previous video, we create the archive pages for the technicians and the services, and then we create the templates for the single page for the technicians and the service. So in this video, we're going to create the two forms that we need in order to put them inside those two templates. Let's go into the forms, and we're going to see that the first form here, the single service booking form, is already created for us inside the Jet forms from the wizard that we ran in the first video. So we're going to edit that, and we're going, of course, to deep dive inside the form, and the knowledge from here, you're going to use it in order to edit the form according to your needs. So maybe you don't need all the fields, maybe you want to create some more fields or some less fields, so you can edit the form however you want. So the first field, as you can see here, is the service ID. This is hidden, so if I click here the pencil, I will see that the type is hidden, and this means that this field will not be displayed in the front end by the visitor. The name is the service ID and the label is custom post ID. And if you see here, the field value is the current post ID. This means that the visitor doesn't have to go and select a service. It will automatically grab the service from the post ID. So whenever a visitor is going to see a service, he will visit a post, a page, but basically it's a post, and that has an ID. That ID will be grabbed automatically from the form, and it will continue the process by using this ID, so it knows which service is selected at this particular time. Let's click cancel here. Let's go to the next one, which is the provider ID. So I'm going to hit pencil, and here we have the type appointment provider. We have the service ID from, and this is the current post ID, of course. And this is asked because it needs to know the service. It will not show all the providers. It will just show the providers that can provide that service. So after that, as you can see here, the custom template, you can use the custom template that we have created already, or you can go and create another template just for this form. We have the name, provider ID, and then the label for the form, select a provider. I'm going to change that because this is something that it's going to appear in the front end. So select a technician. And I'm going to hit apply changes. Let's go up here. Then we have the appointment date, and if I click here, you will see that the get service ID is from the current post ID, and for the get provider ID is from the form field. And what it means? So only the dates that you have based on the service that it's grabbed automatically from the post ID, and from the provider that is grabbed from inside the form field, and the form is the provider ID, basically the previous field that we edit, and then show all the appointment dates that you have, and of course all the slots. So this is what all of those fields mean. I'm going to hit apply here, but if you have something different, so if you have less than 2 or 3 services, you can go and just put here, if you want, a manual input and then select which service you want to put. Or if you just have one provider, then you shouldn't select the form field and provider ID because you have only one provider. You can skip the previous field and just go here and put the provider that you have by putting here the manual input and then select the provider that you want. There's no need here to put all of those. I'm going to hit cancel here because that thing is too safe for me. And then we have the user email. I have already explained that in the video that we did about the booking functionality. This is a text type, and this is just for the visitor to add the email. For me, I have to create 4 new fields that are going to be responsible for the phone number for the car maker, car model, and car year. If you don't know what are those fields, go check the previous video that I did about the form functionality, and I show everything there. So I'm going to speed up the pace here, and I'm going just to add those 4 fields quickly. Let's go and copy the first. And let's put here this one, phone number, and let's go for placeholder, and here is type your phone number. Apply changes. Let's go to the next one. First is the car maker. Type your maker, car maker. Okay, next one is car model. And as you can see, I'm putting that in the placeholder, but you can put it in the label. It was just a mistake, but you can do both of those. Type your model. And probably I'm going to move it up in the label. Okay, apply changes. Just to keep it consistent between the form fields. Apply changes. Let's go to the phone number, and I'm going to put that also here. Okay, and last field was the car year. This one. Label is type year of the car. Okay, and then change that to car year. Apply changes. Let's grab the button and move it at the bottom, and then we can go here. And as you can see, they are already selected because I did my test before, so it knows what field is what because I didn't delete those tests from here. Let's click apply the changes, and let's go and update this service, single service booking form. And now if I go back into the forms, I will see, of course, here the shortcode that I can use for this form. Now, if you are going to use the form and you're going to use the shortcode to display, then you don't have functionality in order to change the layout. If you're using Elementor or Gutenberg, you can use the two elements that you have to add those inside the page that you want. Let's go into the theme. Let's go and open the service because this is the service. Edit with Elementor. And let's wait for that to load. And let's go to the bottom of the page here. Okay, and as you can see, I have already created the form, but I'm going to delete that. I'm going to delete all the section, and I'm going to add the new section. I'm going to give it a little bit of color. Let's go for the style. Let's go for background, and I'm going to put here a little bit of gray, something like that. After that, let's go into the advanced, and I'm going to put the padding at 50 everywhere. And here I'm going to add the form. So let's add the form element, and here I'm going to select for that to be the single. And we have the single service booking form. Okay, then we can update that. And now if I go into the front end and visit the site, let's go and put that here. And let's go into the services. I'm going to select one of those. I'm going to select the change tires, read more. And let's go here, and we're going to see the select technician. We have only 2 technicians, and those are the 2 that offer to change our tires in the shop. So you can go ahead and use the form in order to book this particular service. Let's close that, and let's close also this page, and let's close also, I don't have anything else to close. Okay, so I'm going now to create another form. Now the easiest way, of course, is to duplicate that and just go and edit the form according to your needs. So I'm going to do just that. I'm going to hit duplicate. And now I have the single service booking form copy. I'm going to edit that. And let's delete the copy first, and then let's go to the service, and I'm going to change that to technician. So we have the single technician booking form. Let's start by the first field, which is the service ID. Let's click here. And here for the name, instead of the service, I'm going to switch that into providers. Or provider, just provider ID. And then I'm going to leave everything as it is. So we want a hidden field and we want to grab the current post ID, but I'm just going to name it as provider ID in order to know then and assign that to the provider inside the database after the edit form when I here click the insert appointment. So I will know that this is for the providers, and it's doing the same thing. It's grabbing the current post ID. Let's hit apply changes. And let's go to the next one, which is the provider ID here, and I'm going to edit that. And instead, of course, for the appointment provider, we need something different. Now, as you can see here, we don't have appointment service, so we're going to switch that to radio or checkbox or select field if you want. Just do that. And for this one, we're going to name it as a service ID because this is for the service. And the label will be select a service. Then we have the fill options from, and I'm going to switch from manual input into posts. And for the post type, I'm going to select services. After that, I can go and hit apply. Now, if you want, again, you can put here the custom template that you have created, or you can create a new custom template just for this form. Let's hit apply changes. Let's go back in the top, and here for the appointment date, I'm going also to click here the pencil. And if you have followed along the logic behind all of those deep dive videos, then you should probably know what I'm going to put here. The get service ID from is going to be vice versa from the get provider ID, as you can see here. So we want, instead of the current post ID, we want here to have that form field, and then the service will be the service ID. And after that, the get provider ID from, it's going to be current post ID. So as you can see, those two are opposite. And here you can just put that as none. It doesn't matter if you save or choose something here, it's not going to grab those settings. But just to be clear and not confuse ourselves, we're going to put like this. After that, you can go ahead and if you want change something from here, maybe you want to add the previous page button, maybe you want to change the labels or anything else, I'm just going to hit apply. All of the others fields are going to be the same. There is no reason for me to change any of those. And let's go for the insert appointment. And the service ID was blank before, and I have to select here the service ID, and the provider ID I have to select here the provider ID. I'm going to hit apply changes again, and I'm going to hit update here. So we have finished with this single technician booking form as well. The only thing now that we have is to go here, go into the technician single template, edit that with Elementor, and just go and add that form inside the website. Let's go here. Okay, and let's go to the bottom. I'm going to add here a new section. Again, I'm going to go for the same settings. I'm going to go for a background, and let's change the color to something like this. And then let's go and put here 50 padding everywhere. And let's add the form element. Add that, and for the form I'm going to select here single. And now I have two singles, so I need to go and select the single technician booking form. I'm going to update that. And now let's go back to the front end, visit the site. Let's put that here. And if I go to the services, sorry, the technicians, I need the technicians here. I can go and select Dave or Dave 1. Let's go for Dave. And if I scroll down, I will see that Dave only offers the season service, so I cannot see anything else. Now, of course, in my particular example, I don't have any other service for the technician, so I can skip the part and I can just add that and hide it if I want, so I will not give the visitor the chance to select that because he cannot do anything else. He cannot select another service. But since I don't say anything here that he only offers this service, I choose to add it, and of course in order for you to see how you can change and edit that form. The next thing that we're going to do is going and add the Woocommerce in order to accept payments when we create the bookings. So what we're going to do now is go into the plugins. I'm going to add new, and of course I'm going to install the Woocommerce. So I'm going to pause the video, install the Woocommerce, and then we're going to continue from there. I have installed the Woocommerce. The wizard had the problem, it didn't run correctly, but it's okay. So if I go now to the products and all products, I will see that of course I have nothing inside because it's blank. I just installed Woocommerce and activated. I didn't do anything else. Let's wait for that to load. And here it is, ready to start. So create a product. Okay, let's go back to the forms and let's close this page. Let's go here, let's go into the dashboard. And now I'm going inside the JetAppointment settings. So let's go into the settings, and I have to activate the Woocommerce integration. The moment I do that, some things are going to happen. So first thing, a product is going to be created for me automatically. So now if I go, now it's activated as you can see, and if I go here and refresh, I will see that I have here a product. This product will give me two features. The first is it's going to enable the Woocommerce to accept payments and of course work, because if you don't have any products, then you don't have the cart and checkout page enabled. You have to want at least one product, and as you can see, this is just an appointment and it has a price of €1. Now there is no need for you to go and edit that product. It's just here in order to enable the checkout and the order capabilities of Woocommerce. There's no need to go and create products or do anything else. Just leave it there. Do not delete it because you will lose these features that I'm talking about. Just leave it as it is. Now if I go into the forms, let's go here. Let's go into the Jet Engines and then forms. I have to go also into my forms and add the calculated field if I don't have any. I have created, I think, in the static page booking form. I didn't add inside these two forms. So let's edit that. And if I go here, I will see probably the calculated, and here it is, the appointment total calculated. And if I go and click here, I will see that I have the field appointment date, and this is from here, field appointment date, and says that this macro returns the appointment price. So this will grab the price and it will fetch it inside here. Now if I scroll down and go into the insert appointment and click here, I will see that I have now an extra field which will be the Woocommerce price field, and this should be matched with the calculated field that we just say about. So appointment total is for me. After that, we have the Woocommerce order details that we can set up, and then we have the Woocommerce checkout field maps. Let's start from this because this is easier. So basically, these are the fields that the checkout needs in order to continue with the order, the process of ordering and paying. And if you have any of those inside the form, then you can just go ahead and sync those in order to be pre-filled for the customer. So the customer don't have to fill that when he's in the checkout form. It's not needed. You just want to do that in order to make the life of the visitor easier, in order to sync the details that you have already from the form. So if you have anything of that inside the form, then you can go ahead and assign that. We have just the billing email, which is the user email probably, and then maybe we have something like phone, billing phone, which we can change that when phone number, and this will grab automatically those two things and it will display in the cart. You don't have to do that. It's not necessary. It's not required, but it's easy. It's nice for the visitor to see that all of those things that you have selected and added in the form, they're already there and waiting for them. And let's go to the Woocommerce order details. And as you can see, this is the setup booking related info. And you can add those Woocommerce order and emails. So let's go and set up. So these are the information that the client will get once he pays, and he will receive the email from WooCommerce. So service name is service, and then we have the full date and time with a label date, and this is the order of the date, and you can see the format and how the date and time is displayed here, and you can change it accordingly. We can add an item, and we can select if we want here the provider, and we can put that as a technician. And we can put that in the middle and do whatever we want here. Also, if we had here custom slots and we have check-in and check-out custom times and dates, then we should add here the check-in and the check-out in different fields, so the visitor will get all those information. Let's save that. Okay, and now I can go and hit apply changes. And the last thing for me to say here is that now that I have here the sent email for the customer, let's go and open that. This is the email that he is going to get from the form, and once he books and he completes the form, he will go and get an email from the form. But if then he is going to go and pay for that booking, then he is going to also receive another that says that it has been paid, and this is also the information for the appointment. If you want 2 emails to the client, that's okay. If you just want 1 email, then go and delete this email. Of course, remember that this is because we need the customer to go and pay. If you have the option to book without payment, and you have also the option to book and pay, then you need to leave those 2 ways in order to get the emails, because there are some people that are not going to get the WooCommerce email because they're not going to pay for the booking. Okay, so that was it with the WooCommerce, and I think that we also need to add here redirection in order to automatically go into the checkout. So add another thing, and here we need to go to redirect to a page, and then redirect to a custom URL, no custom URL, custom page, and then select the checkout. So once he clicks the book now, he will go straight ahead to the checkout, and then apply changes, and let's go and update that. Once you do that in all the other forms that you have. Add the calculated field, add the information correctly, go and assign the calculated field with the price of the WooCommerce, assign everything, and put the redirection here. Now if I go into the front end, visit site, and let's go and select something, change tires, and select here provider. Okay, I have to refresh in order to select a provider. Let's go for oil change, and something's not working correct for me in the form. Maybe I have to go and change something. Okay, I just refresh the backend, and I think I had a problem with my template. So Peter 1 for here, and then select something, and then let's go and select some hours here. Okay, and now let's go next, and then we have the email, phone number, car maker, car model, car year, radio from here, and book now, and this will go straight ahead into the checkout as you are going to see here. And the total amount is 25 euros, as you can see. So everything worked okay. So now the visitor can go fill out everything and then just go and place the order and pay. Of course, I have not set up payments in the WooCommerce. Remember that you should disable the shipping or other information if you don't need to, because these are virtual products. But that is how you are going to integrate that with WooCommerce. Now let's begin with my conclusion. We have 6 videos, and that shows you how much features we had to cover in order to show how this plugin works. So you had to see all the 6 videos in order to create something in your website. I think that this is a pro and a con at the same time. If you are looking for something that it's easy, set it up and just put the information that you need and it was going to work flawlessly, then this is not the plugin for you. You have to set it up, you have to check everything that is going to work. If something is missing, then you're going to see every step from the beginning in order to see what is going on and what did you forget in order to see what is missing, and it's a little bit pain in the butt. Now, if you're looking to create some more advanced stuff, then I think that this is a plugin that you can do that. Of course, there are some things that are missing. I would like to have custom notifications in dates, in times, so the visitor will get a notification that the appointment is closing in and you have 2 days for the appointment, and then another email when the same day it arrives that says, hey, remember that you have an appointment today at that hour. So I would like custom notification. I cannot set notification to the providers. If I want to, I would like to have those possibilities. This is basically from the Jet engine, and I would like the possibility to have something from the ACF field in order to put that as an email recipient. Also, you have to use Elementor in order to create something more beautiful, because as you saw, Gutenberg is not something that you can customize at all. Okay, it's not that you cannot customize at all. You can customize a little bit the form, you can customize a little bit the template, but you don't have too many possibilities. Gutenberg is not at that point that you can use it and create more advanced stuff. It's more basic features. So you have to use Elementor to create something better looking. And if you're going to use, of course, custom fields, and if you're going to use also templates, then you need to have 3 or 4 plugins in order to use the JetAppointment. You have to use the Jet engine, you have to use the Jet theme builder, you have maybe to use Jet elements in order to grab the gallery. You have to also use the Woocommerce in order to accept payments. So we're talking about 5 plugins in order to create just a site, a website with appointment functionality. And probably you could do all of those things with just one plugin like Amelia or something different. There are plugins that accept payments inside the plugins integrated with the same plugin. Of course, they don't have all the functionality and all the payments from Woocommerce, because Woocommerce can work all over the world, but you can see what I'm talking about with the plugins that you're going to install. Of course, if you are a web developer and you create websites for your clients and you choose Elementor in order to build something, then you can use of JetAppointments and all the other plugins that I show you in order to create something for your clients. So that was the end of the series. Hope guys you enjoyed and learned some stuff about how to use the JetAppointments, and hopefully learn about the Jet engine and the forms functionality, because we deep dive in those things. Please support me by giving me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done already, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye guys.